Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, where the topic is pairing marketing initiatives with corporate goals using OnePlan's strategic portfolio management platform. My name is Robert Stickle. I'm also joined by my colleague, Jose Levy. I'll now turn the presentation over to Jose.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining for today's webinar on pairing marketing with corporate goals using OnePlan SPM, the OnePlan SPM platform. So the discussion is going to be about how marketing needs to be involved and leverage strategic portfolio management. So this is just setting the stage. We all know this. Marketing is critically important to the success of the organization, and now more than ever, given the reliance on marketing technology and the marketing technology stack that is driven by marketing, used by marketing in our organizations. But the mission remains the same in terms of generating demand for products and services to meet revenue targets, connecting with key users with targeted messaging through tailored marketing campaigns, and being able to communicate benefits and features of the product, and also communicate to the rest of the world how our customer needs are satisfied by our product. So really the purpose here is to establish the importance of marketing to the organization and to achieving the corporate objectives. And I very succinctly started to meet revenue targets in the very first question that we're trying to answer, because at the end of the day, it is what drives the business, and being able to close business and increase revenue for growth. So marketing needs to participate, and it does, but it needs to have a very strong voice in the contribution to the corporate strategy. And that's really what we're trying to set the stage here. Just for those that haven't been exposed to the subject, we promote and use the strategic portfolio management framework from Gartner, and really what that means is it's a set of processes and tools that allow an organization to connect strategy to execution. It has multiple components, as you'll see in a second, and really it's about trying to allow the organization to realize the strategy by doing better projects, prioritizing projects, having organizational alignment across the board, across all areas of the business. And again, that's where marketing comes in, because they are such a critical part to the business. There's a lot to SPM. It's a very aspirational state for an organization, because it involves connecting capabilities, processes, supporting portfolio technology through the organization. And you can see that in the graphic. It begins with objectives and key results, which are supported by initiatives, projects, epics, product features, and also the connection to enterprise architecture and business architecture, which is driven by IT investments. That's where IT portfolio investment comes in. So it's fairly comprehensive. You don't have to implement it in its entirety at once. You can evolve into it. But the key takeaway is that you're defining a business strategy very succinctly through your objective and key results. You're measuring attainment of those objectives and key results by impact from project initiatives. So you're constantly evaluating and prioritizing projects to see which ones are going to have the highest probability of delivering on the key results, so that then you can deliver on the strategy. So again, it's fairly comprehensive, and it integrates all parts of the organization. So all parts of the organization, including marketing. And here we have a very simple example of a CEO with a objective and key result: product sales up 30%, and launching 5 new products and a new marketing campaign with NPD. So this deconstructs, and don't want to get into the approach for defining OKRs in an organization, because that can also vary. But the main point here is that the functional areas of the business have to determine how they're going to contribute to their objective and key results of the overall corporate organization, in this case represented by the CEO. So this being a very new product development driven set of OKRs at the very top. You can see that the VP of R&D has taken initiative and defined some OKRs. In addition, there's a 10% market share for the new products that has been defined as a metric by the VP of R&D. In this case, the director of marketing also has a set of OKRs that is contributing to the corporate OKR. And at the same time, in order to participate or impact the VP of R&D's 10% market share, that marketing PMO is going to have to contribute or have projects that align to that. So here's an example of a very growth-oriented new product development scenario where a marketing PMO needs to contribute not only to the corporate portfolio, but also to initiatives in R&D. So it's a case where the marketing PMO plays a central role in making sure that both the R&D OKR and the corporate OKR are met. And it highlights the need for having that marketing PMO project portfolio so you can monitor the progress of how initiatives are contributing to meeting the key result. And again, this is an example of business functional PMOs, because at the enterprise PMO level, the projects derived from the marketing PMO and their own PMO are being listed in an inventory at the higher level in order to make sure that you're meeting the, you're realizing the strategy, which is really what the example of the CEO is. Are we meeting the corporate strategy by contributing projects to the OKRs of the organization? So the next highlight I want to make is that a marketing PMO is not marketing operations. A marketing PMO, as I showed earlier, you should be at a holding that defined marketing strategy that was defined. What are the OKRs, the objectives for marketing in its contribution to the overall strategy? The marketing PMO is going to maintain that project inventory, the portfolio of work, and is going to ensure that success of projects support those marketing business outcomes, which are the KRs. They might be maintaining standards for marketing project management. Marketing is, very unique. There's art and science involved in project management and portfolio management, but I think even more in marketing. I mean, much more art. So the approaches for doing marketing projects, might be slightly different than doing engineering projects or IT projects. So those standards are maintained by the marketing PMO. And as I showed earlier, the marketing PMO is going to integrate and connect with the overall enterprise project management office to make sure that those projects are represented, and initiatives, by the way, because there will be requests for funding. Initiatives from the marketing PMO are well represented in the overall corporate portfolio. What the marketing PMO is not is what's highlighted marketing operations, which is really operationalizing marketing initiatives, developing process systems, workflows, putting people in the right place to make sure that marketing execution takes place, and making use of marketing technology that I highlight earlier and I'll mention in a few minutes. Focus on that role of the marketing PMO. So the other important aspect is, and this has gone on probably for the last 20 years or so, technology in a way operationalized marketing in a very different way by having access to data, by having access to cloud applications. So here's just an example of, and really a test for your marketing organization. I mean, do you have a marketing PMO that is the agent of transformation? And what this immediately relates to is, have you implemented all these solutions? How many of these solutions are you taking advantage of to actually drive the OKRs of marketing? It's incredibly diverse and atomic in terms of all the different services that you could be making use of in terms of technology to to drive the marketing agenda and your marketing metrics. So this needs to be managed by the marketing PMO. I mean, the IT PMO can lead it, but at the end of the day, these are marketing initiatives that in many ways contribute to the KRs of the organization. I have a couple of slides here. One that's just the representation of a marketing stack with all the different areas that you could be operating in. And prominently, I've did put OnePlan here because we do participate in enabling marketing PMOs and marketing project management and project portfolio management. And then, a survey of spend of technology that sits within the marketing budget. And again, all of these are being used by marketing teams and should be implemented and improved, enhanced by the marketing PMO. So, and in the end, how much are you transforming marketing technology to achieve greater business outcomes? These are the tools that your marketing PMO will implement so that you can, get to the KRs that you promised to the organization. What type of PMO do you want to be? So I just highlight this because I think it's an important point that gets missed in terms of, you don't have to be all things to all people, but you do have to focus on what's going to have greatest impact to your organization. There's factors that involve or include culture, style, skill sets internally that define, where you're going to be in the spectrum. And I went, you can see that on the left are the two probably highest weighted types of PMOs that you see, an activist PMO and a delivery PMO, with on the right, compliance PMO and COE PMOs as probably not as common, although in all cases you will probably, your PMO will act in this way in some fashion. It's just the weight or the main focus of what type of project management office you're going to have. The activist PMO is managing demand, is approving the business case, monitoring project portfolio. The delivery PMO is really where most of you see PMOs in marketing and project execution to the expected outcomes, building repeatable process. The compliance PMO is mostly based on standards and adherence to standards. My personal point of view is that you don't want to focus on that 100% because that really doesn't deliver as much value to the organization. It can it can turn people off in terms of the perceived value that you're providing to the marketing organization. COE PMO is kind of a community practice. That's what COE is, and it's a loosely based set of project managers that kind of work together. It's less formal, and I would not recommend it. I'd definitely be recommending activist PMO and delivery PMOs if you're looking to set up a marketing PMO. The type of PMO defines a charter, and that's really important. You need to have a charter that defines what you're going to be offering. What is the purpose of our PMO in marketing, and what are the levels of service that we're going to offer? What are we going to do, and what are we not going to do? That's also very important. In the end, the marketing PMO integrates into the enterprise portfolio. I mentioned that earlier, and here's a visual that kind of gives us that you have strategy execution management within strategic portfolio management, where we're trying to determine how close are we getting to meeting our corporate objectives in terms of OKRs. Then we're going to have portfolios that are going to support those OKRs. And very simply here, we have an IT on the left and the enterprise PMO on the right. They could be all into one, by the way, but usually because IT is so focused, it will have a separate portfolio. The enterprise PMO is made up of the business unit PMOs that are themselves in what I've talked about so far, is enabling the marketing PMO to deliver those business outcomes either through MarTech or through initiatives that contribute to the overall corporate portfolio. So there should be probably a line that connects marketing in order to do this marketing to the strategy execution, but we're doing it here in a hierarchical fashion. Last week, my colleague Jim Patterson talked about operations, so that's what that operations represent. And if you're doing product, then I've actually recently been involved with implementations of OnePlan for R&D and product driven organizations. Those are the projects that are again contributing part of the enterprise PMO that are contributing to the overall strategy execution. Finish up in terms of SPM, because what we want to do is represent here what SPM is all about. Is about strategy and OKRs and value streams, and delivering on the strategy, delivering the value, and with very, very specific metrics. That, remember the initial example I talked about the CEO in terms of the sales growth that he's trying to achieve for the entire organization. That is going to cascade to functional leaders, and very prominently I have the marketing portfolio management there to make sure that again, either through marketing technology or marketing initiatives that support the overall corporate strategy are represented. And then finally, execution leaders, whether you're going across the organization and working on projects, individual project initiatives that contribute to the overall strategy. Here we're talking strictly about execution, project management, the project management side exclusively. So OnePlan is a platform that has all the capabilities to, support marketing PMOs. It's a solution that meets you where you're at. It's a solution that can be tailored to the specific requirements of the organization. We have had marketing organizations that use OnePlan in the ways that I've described, and they're using the features that we list here. We describe our solution as having these four pillars of processes, and it's just for simplification purposes because you could expand it further every one of these stages. But what we're trying to do is address the personas that are shown here, personas in strategy, whether you're executives, whether you're customers, whether you're enterprise architects or product managers coming up with ideas. Those get captured within OnePlan as the source for what will be the portfolios, the enterprise portfolio. And that's where portfolio managers are able to define the inventory once those projects have been approved. On the strategy side, there is capacity planning, financial planning, what if scenario modeling, and I'll show that in a second in the context of a marketing PMO. And execution, OnePlan kind of straddles the strategy to execution boundary, and we have very strong execution tools for project managers, and we can also integrate different tools if your organization is leveraging other solutions. So you can have that overarching statusing and portfolio inventory through OnePlan. Resource management is one of our strengths, and that's where the resource managers are able to use the planning tools and resource negotiation. And then for team members during execution, you have two different ways of reporting progress, either through My Work or a formal timesheet with managed time periods and actual hours. In terms of analysis, we have a formal status report within the tool, dashboards within Power BI, and a visualization to show the connections between all the different objects in the solution. We're supported by Sophia GPT, which is based on Azure OpenAI, which is secure to leverage generative AI as part of your project management use cases. So if you're a marketing organization, what we would do is look at your requirements and then tailor the solution based on those specific needs to drive your PMO. We've made a heavy emphasis on generative AI, so we want to highlight Sophia GPT, which is again based on Azure OpenAI. It's our AI-driven collaboration capability, and I'll show a couple of examples of it during the demonstration. Leverages OpenAI, as I said, and it simplifies a lot of the use cases for project managers and really for any of the stakeholders that I mentioned. You could be using it for validating data, providing narratives, doing estimations and anomaly detection, etc. So as you'll see in the demonstration, I'll show it's always available. And this is really important because when you invoke the Sophia GPT feature, it's going to be looking at the data that's actually within your screen. So this is really important, and I think it goes to the core of using Gen AI, which is data integrity, and making sure that in this case, this screen actually has all the data that you want for analysis. So if there's additional metrics that need to be included, they should be on the screen for then you to be able to prompt Sophia GPT for the result that you're looking for. It's going to be in really every one of the screens that any one of the screens that OnePlan has. And just as a point of reference, this is just a continuation of how AI has played a part within portfolio management. So this is not the first time that AI is used. It's just that in this instance, since November 2023, we've had, or November 2022, we've had readily available the technology for use by many organizations, really, after OpenAI and Microsoft made it available. And we're continuing to build on it. We're continuing to build on Sophia GPT in order to make it more autonomous and more automated in terms of its use. So today we're talking about sales and marketing and the marketing PMO. Really, because of the way that OnePlan is built, it can be used by all the different parts of the organization in your own particular way within one solution. I think that's really the virtue of OnePlan, that it's one technology platform that can be adopted and adapted to the requirements of every one of your functional areas, while at the same time serving the purpose of strategic portfolio management, which I mentioned, which is all about having that overall enterprise portfolio that allows you to meet the corporate results and strategy that's been defined. And just emphasizing again how generative AI and strategic portfolio management is important. This is going to be driving a lot of the benefits and optimization that you could have in portfolio management. So I'll show in a second actually a scenario for strategic planning within marketing, where we ask Sophia GPT to actually provide additional key results to a corporate objective. There's portfolio optimization and being able to balance portfolios and maximizing value. For the project manager themselves, I think this is a must-have. I've talked about this previously and do webinars on it, but in terms of the work management capabilities that Sophia GPT has to accelerate the work for a project manager, this is something that you really have to focus on and provide to the organization. Risk management, identifying risk, this is one of the analysis areas for project portfolio management that Gen AI is good at. We're focusing a lot on resource allocation. It's one of the primary requirements that we get from customers, and really it's about optimizing that resource allocation across projects and teams. And then finally, investment forecasting has to do with project cost, budgets, and forecasts, and how to best balance the portfolio based on those requirements. Here's the sample use case for strategic planning. I went, and just for purposes of time, I'm listing it here, but I basically opened up the OKRs for marketing and requested Sophia GPT. I prompted what additional key results can help measure attainment of the increased brand awareness objective. And again, it's using the data that's on the screen, so I could have added additional data, but basically it came back and said, okay, these are 10 additional KRs that I could have added. Now I'm going to go through them and basically see, their relevancy and fit, and then I may include additional ones, that could then spur initiatives, because the KRs are going to be supported by project initiatives that are going to help meet the KR. So here's an example of perfecting corporate strategy by using Sophia GPT for additional KRs. From here, I would select the ones that are relevant, or maybe not at all. That we might be dealing or achieving this, but at least it's a sanity check to make sure that we're on the right path in terms of having the right key results. So let's jump to a quick demonstration. So today I'm going to start with my ideas, which is really intake. It's where we manage demand, and OnePlan actually has several different ways of configuring this for an organization. We do have a request portal where you can have any user in the organization submit an idea and even vote on them if you're interested in getting input from everyone in the organization. In this case, we have the My Ideas area, and just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to focus on marketing. So I'm the head of marketing, and I'm really just interested in the ones that have come in from marketing. And I can see here that I have one active one that I need to focus on: customer relationship management. It's new. I do have a prioritization score that is there, and it doesn't have an approval status. So what I could be doing, I would have received a notification through workflow that this was sent to me, because I'm the head of marketing, and then I would have come into the tool, OnePlan, My Ideas area, looked at the ideas that are for marketing, that I can go in and further evaluate this. You can have a life cycle. So, separate from the project lifecycle, this is a demand lifecycle. It can have a workflow. It can be driven by actions that are taken on the business case. And you can see here that we have a business case, distribution value statement, additional comments. I have some financials that have been put together, prioritization values that I could be evaluating whether they're correct or not. In this case, we're even doing WSJF, which is the agile method for doing prioritization, with the shortest job first, with value. And then we have some relationships that have been established. So the key result for this, so this is important because now we have a key result that is tied to this new initiative. If we decide not to do, we could be impacting this key result. So I'm going to go to this key result in a second, but just to complete on what the approver could be going through here is going through the approval status. And again, you could be doing this automated or manually, but essentially once it's approved, the item will be then created and represented as a project initiative within the enterprise portfolio. The workflow would move to closed, and you would have the project now ready to be sequenced and further built. Now, if I'm a project manager or a business analyst receiving this, you can see here that I have narrative information that is missing, and this is exactly what SOPHIA GPT is really good at. So if it takes too long, I'll have to shut it down. But I'll go ahead. I could have gone and also included the value statement, additional comments, but just for time's sake, and the output that will come out, I left it at that. So whoever is actually responsible for creating this could be leveraging SOPHIA GPT for doing exactly this and completing the narrative. This form, by the way, can also be expanded. This is just a sample form, basic template that we have. But if your organization has something much more elaborate or simpler, this can be adjusted to reflect that. This is a fairly standard use case for generative AI, where you basically prompt the system for some narrative, fairly comprehensive. So, and it's using, you note that it's using the data that is within the form. So again, the more information that you provide, the more contextual and relevant is going to be. And even went into, you can see it's using the budget and the benefits as part of the description. It provided a prioritization, risk assessment, and it's giving me a conclusion. So very nicely done. From here, I can take it and edit it and provide what's most relevant for our business case. Okay, so once I've done that, I want to go and take a look at, if we decide not to do this, what is the likely impact? So I'm going to go back and then look at our achieve a 30% increase in repeat business from existing customers, and do we have any other projects that are actually supporting this key result? Because if we don't, then we might want to consider it in order to achieve the key result. So in this case, we only have two, and one of it is another idea. Oh, it's the customer relationship idea. This is our idea. So what that means here is that we should include it, because it doesn't. We only have really two initiatives to support this very important key result. Now, the other thing I could do here, I could ask SOPHIA GPT to provide me with other ideas that could support the this key result. So another example, again, using generative AI to drive completion or attainment of a KR that's part of the of our corporate results. So I'm more interested now. Let's go back to our corporate. We finish our ideas. I'm going to go back to my strategy and see how that impacts. And I'm going to go and focus. Here we have the marketing, so I'm going to go and focus on that business unit again. I'm the head of marketing, so let's see how we're represented within the organization. We have these objective and this key result. So I could come in here again. This is the strategy execution side, where I'm trying to determine, what are the initiatives and key results that impact this objective, increased brand awareness. So I could be doing exactly the same thing and asking, okay, to increase brand awareness, what key results are we missing that I could be looking at? So that's another way of leveraging Gen AI in the strategy execution side. I could dive deeper into every one of my key results and see, how they're being supported by projects. So this one looks pretty good. We have 3 projects and an idea. Could go back to my strategy and do the same thing for every one of my key results. So they look to be fairly well represented. I could go to the dashboard and then look at reports that are directly related to see how the statusing of the key results and how we're represented. So this is a report pack that's is exclusive or specific to the OKR area. And we can see here IT has the majority. We do have some one main objective by business unit that were represented here, but IT has a majority. So we're not here is our brand awareness OKR that we were looking at. So from here I could go into the portfolio itself and look at, and I'm going to, this is our project summary, by the way, and it does have the ability to show a Gantt, because I want to see exactly where we're at. And I will focus this further and only look at marketing again, because this is the overall enterprise portfolio. There's 4 projects that we're leading, and unfortunately they're not doing very well. So it could be, again, this is the roll-up. This is not all the projects that marketing is doing. These are the ones that are represented within the corporate portfolio: content marketing, project pro, SEO optimization, and social media strategy. So, any point here, I could be looking at exactly what's going on. We're in planning stage, and I could be looking at exactly why the status, we're off track on status. It looks like it's been there, historically, because we do have trending data, and it's really the schedule. So something is going on in the schedule. And again, if I'm a portfolio leader, I could be going into the schedule and looking at it itself, because my team is working on it. So exactly what's happening. So we have a work plan here, and it's showing me, that this basically project's delayed. And you can see a number of the milestones are basically haven't been completed. So we need to take action on this. At which point, I could trigger a comment directly with the project manager that's doing this. So I could go and provide request a status update directly, or some action that needs to be taken in order to actually address the schedule issue. You note here that this is also a project that's being done using Project Professional, which means that it shows OnePlan's integration capabilities with other solutions. And there's 2 here that are being done within OnePlan, but they're tied to a Microsoft Teams workspace. So marketing has these projects, and what I could do from here is also see from a resource planning standpoint how marketing is doing. So we have the entire organization here, and we can see that I have some resources that are not going to be fully available. I could be focusing only on my part of the organization, so I'll do that. These are called pre-filters, so I'll just focus on marketing. And we can see here that there are some resources. We have a developer within our team, and most developers are over allocated, so I need to address some of these projects in terms of the participation of that developer, or be able to find an alternative resource, candidate that might be available to replace, in this case, Oscar in one of these projects. So my content marketing, I could find another developer that might be able. It might not be a developer within marketing, but it might be another developer I can request in order to see if maybe Steve can participate in relieving Oscar. So this is about, again, understanding the allocation of your marketing team to all the project initiatives, and then being able to find suitable replacement overcome the overallocation. So one more area I want to show is really the modeler, and here we have a very simple scenario. We have a budget of $1 million. You know, how can we, what can we do in order to get there? We have 1.6. If we did all projects, by the way, we would need 2.6. We only have $1 million, so this is it's a real tough you know, tough situation for marketing. I'm sure, you know, organizations are facing this, where you actually have to select what will be, you know, what's going to be the closest. So the closest we can get to is really 1.5 or 1.6. I could, you know, take out social media strategy, but that's too important. Marketing for a specific product, if I did that, I get within my 1.5. So, and you know, that's the target that we put in here. So, you know, I could be saving this as a scenario, my $1.5 million scenario. Likely what we should do is go find additional money, because marketing is too important, and not to have this funded is pretty critical. So, you know, another example of how you could be using OnePlan to focus on the projects based on budget and benefit that you have to deliver. And another important point is that you could be using this also to determine what we call above the line, below the line. So there's a lot of projects that get created, but not all of them really have the prioritization of the merit. And you know, that's where you could be using this to, here has a prioritization value of 63, so I'll focus on that. I will do between that and SEO optimization, I'm at 1.7. So these other two are not necessarily as important. I'm going to focus on these two, and I'll just have to figure out how we can either reduce budget, which I could by going to the financials for this project, or just seek new funding, because I could go to the financials directly and start seeing how I could you know, reduce the budget for the initiative. So a couple of ways of trying to, you know, optimize in order to get to the intended target. Okay, as you can see here, the modeler can also work in other parts of the organization. So, you know, we have other scenarios here for IT planning, OKR planning, you know, the OKR model, seeing, you know, which ones are the ones that should be selected and funded. So, you know, again, marketing has a prominent place and should have its own prioritization model that then feeds to the overall enterprise portfolio. And that's really what we're trying to play on here, that marketing should have its PMO, marketing should be prioritizing its main initiatives that support the corporate strategy, and then you know, having a seat at the table in order to get those initiatives funded. We're returning, I'll just highlight, you know, that OnePlan does have extensive reporting capabilities through Power BI, and we'll highlight and look at some of the portfolios. Here's our marketing contribution brand awareness portfolio. I could drill through into portfolio details after, you know, inspecting what marketing is doing, but here's our budget. We really just have one portfolio, so I can continue drilling through, and you can make changes to these. These are the ones that are out of the box. Here's the 4 projects that we were looking at in terms of what their current status. This is one we were looking at, I can continue drilling through into the project details, and we provide, you know, 4 perspectives: an overview, a trends page based on the data that being snapshotted within OnePlan, financials, and then the execution detail. And that applies actually to you know, any of the views. So at a program level, you could be also looking at the four dimensions, and also at the portfolio level. I think the execution is interesting because it's rolling up everything that's going on within all of the different projects. You can see brand management, portfolio, and everything that's taking place in terms of milestones, tasks, changes, issues. There's no risks apparently in this one. And this is coming directly from the data that's being registered within OnePlan. All right, I think we've come to the end of our demonstration. I will continue with the presentation. So in terms of summary and next steps, you know, the marketing PMO supports delivery of the marketing OKRs through the strategic initiatives. That's the very first example that I showed for that corporate CEO. You're going to get better alignment with strategy and also with enterprise IT architecture because of the marketing tech stack that needs to be built. And you need successful outcomes there in order to drive metrics in marketing. If you don't implement those solutions correctly, your marketing operations could be compromised. SPM integrates the marketing project portfolio to the enterprise PMO. I tried to show that, and the importance of marketing to have a seat at the table at the enterprise PMO. Gen AI is adding to the degree of change and impacting marketing projects outside of the use of a strategic portfolio management solution. Gen AI is one of the primary tools for marketing content right now. I know we're doing that significantly. So if you're not using Gen AI in marketing for your content generation, then you're falling behind. So this is something that you should all be aware of. Our solution is an end-to-end strategic portfolio management solution in the Microsoft Cloud, and it can be tailored to specific marketing requirements. We have an integration platform, which I didn't mention, but that's where triggers from marketing operations in terms of where content is being generated or initiatives are being initiated. You could actually have that go back and forth between OnePlan. So we do provide integration capabilities between other platforms if it's needed. We provide a crawl, walk, run approach, and I think our customers appreciate that because we don't force you into a newer maturity level that you cannot handle immediately. So you can evolve into it at your own pace, while at the same time trying to solve the critical business problems that that you currently have in strategic portfolio management. And I showed how AI provides valuable assistance, and our Sophia GPT could be helping the marketing PMO. We are a market leader within the Microsoft ecosystem. For the past 5 years, we've been a finalist for project and portfolio management. What this means is that we impact and support the large number of enterprise accounts for Microsoft and organizations that have Microsoft as a collaboration stack. You can see here the other mentions from market analysts. Within Gartner, we're our voice of the customer. We're one of the few listed, and our customers, speak for the value of our product and the impact it's had in an organization. You can see the other, we're working closely with other analyst organizations, and I'm happy to announce that we recently, in fact, this month, it was announced that OnePlan was rated a strong performer within the Forrester SPM Q4 2024 ranking, and you can see the comment they provided in terms of the value that the solution provides. So this is very significant, and I'll mention three different aspects. Number one, in this chart, OnePlan is the only Microsoft ecosystem solution that is a strong performer. Although you don't need any Microsoft tool to use OnePlan, it is tightly integrated within the Microsoft Cloud, and OnePlan does operate in the Microsoft Cloud, so that makes it more of a better fit for Microsoft-based organizations. The second is you'll see that the rest of the participants, as either a strong performer or a leader, are well-established, larger, more complex, more expensive solutions. In a lot of ways, they're very different in our philosophy to enabling organization with strategic portfolio management. We believe that it has to be right for you, it has to be practical, it has to be quick, and it has to be provide value, so it has to be fairly priced. So I think that that's significant because, again, all those more expensive, complex players, you should be taking a look at OnePlan because we kind of make it right. The third element, it's a great validation by Forrester. I mean, it's a market analyst that's been doing this for over 20 years, a very long time. So to get the recognition really means something, it puts us in a good position to be your your trusted partner in strategic portfolio management. Do look at our webinars. We continue to develop content and focusing on more thought leadership as we go along. We're about to start a new series, so please look for the either on our webpage or our email that you'll receive in order to see the new webinar series. The solution that I showed is a strategic portfolio management solution, and we believe in being able to trial the solution. You can go to AppSource or within our site directly and set up a trial, with demo data, so you can test out the feature set and how it might be able to solve your challenges with project portfolio management. We have, as part, mentioned the trial, but we also have requirement workshops and personalized demos. So please contact us to have a discussion on how we might be able to help you. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again in another one of our webinars. Thanks.